Hey guys, Suraj here from Amunra Shiksha again. I hope you really liked my previous video, which is what is sidechaining, how to sidechain, what are the tips and tricks for sidechaining, and in what ways you can use sidechaining. And I think all of you understood what I'm trying to explain. I hope you really liked that video. Today, this video is gonna be mainly because I had asked a couple of questions on my social media asking what are the next things you wanna get to know, and most of the people came up with this question: what do I need to have to produce music? Most of the common mistakes what people think is they need to have a big ass studio including your psychoacoustics and your acoustic panel, which costs a lot of money, and you need to have like a super Mac Pro having a 1 TB of hard drive, etc., etc. You need to have all expensive gears and modulars and synthesizers for you to produce music. But that's not actually the truth. The truth is, I would say, according to me, all you need to have is a laptop which has like a 4 GB RAM or 8 GB RAM, and then any software XYZ. No, nothing specific that you have to go for Ableton or Logic. Anything it's up to you. You can go either for FL Studio, you can either go for Ableton or Logic or anything. Cubase, Nuendo, Pro Tools, etc., etc. It depends on your call and also on your budget. The more you want to make it professional, the more budget of course you have to spend on it. But I will tell you what you need basic. Today is going to be about what are the basic things you need to start producing music. And this is just gonna be for producing music, nothing for recording as such. But I will also make another video what are the things you need for recording instruments or your vocals and etc., etc. In today's video, I'm gonna show you what are the things you really need. It's gonna be straight to the point, nothing, all of the things, all I'm gonna show you is gonna be on Amazon, and I'm gonna show you a couple of things on their website, their authentic website, and I hope you all understand. And the reasons why I've chosen these equipments is these are all the equipments which I use it for my protection, and I've done a ton of experiment before buying them all, because in the audio industry every piece of gear is super expensive, so you just do not want to go and buy blindly just because you've heard about it or your friends tell it's good. You want to go buy them after using it. You want to go buy them after you put your hands on and you feel okay, this is the equipment which I'm looking for. And that's how I bought all of these. And I think I've made a good choice in buying them, because I think it's almost 3 to 4 years that I'm using all of these, and I'm super happy with them, to be really frank. No errors, no glitches. They have never let me down even a single time, and very easy understanding. It's not that technical, or because from most of the producers' point of view, you guys are not looking in for sound engineering, so you do not want most of the things to be too technical, but at the same time you do not want to also compromise on your quality. So I think these are the equipments which will let you do that. Not too technical, all is just like a plug and play, but the quality is top notch. So I've done a lot of study on all of the equipments which I'm going to show you, and it's not a 1 day or 2 day call. I've sat and I've literally studied them for 2 months, 3 months. I've gone to various couple of studios, put my hands on them, and only after them I bought it. The first thing you need to produce music would be a laptop. A laptop, in my terms, for music production, yes, of course, you guys are wondering now why is he showing a MacBook. But I kind of prefer that it's the best for music production and for all your sound engineers, including for your live situations where you're using waves on your live console, or you want to do a lot of processing like UAD plugins and waves plugin. Yes, your Windows also do happen to run them without any error, but the thing is, you can't you can't put in a lot of load in your Windows system. It does happen to crash at times because your Windows do not run under one support of software. It needs multiple things for it to run. For example, if you open your task manager and if you go to the tab called process, it will show you a bunch of things, and all the bunch of things which you see there needs for the laptop to run. But that's not how it's on a MacBook. In a MacBook, all it needs is its OS, which could be Yosemite, which could be El Capitan, could be Mojave, could be Catalina, could be High Sierra, and etc. etc. So your MacBook does not need any support. So when you're running a high plugin which takes up a lot of RAM, your OS gives full concentration only on the DAW and on the plugins, and it do not deviates itself to another processing which is running in the background. It just shuts down all the process that's running on the background, and it concentrates only on your DAW and your plugin. Why do we have to do this? The reason you need to do this is the more RAM consumption takes place, the more latency it is. So you do not want to face the terminology of latency, because it can quietly ruin your project. Latency is nothing but when you play something, you do not hear it the moment you play, you hear it after certain seconds. That is really bad for mixing, very bad for mastering, very, very bad for recording. Because when you record something, you want to hear them in your headphones when you're actually monitoring it on real time. When you're compressing your vocals, you want to hear them real time. What do I mean by real time is, you want to hear them when you're actually compressing it and not after you finish your compression. So if you're really hearing after doing everything in your compression and then you hear the output, then there is a latency of certain XYZ amount of seconds or minutes. When you compress the audio file, when you set an attack, when you set and release, you want to hear it the moment you're setting it. That is where it makes sense for you to actually process. So I think in that way it's the best for you to go for the MacBook. But yes, of course you can also go for the Windows, but I personally recommend the MacBooks because of the certain things which I had mentioned previously. But yeah, you can of course go for Windows, but longer run I wouldn't recommend Windows. Because understand one thing, if you want to build a PC, if you want to build a PC that is really powerful, you have to customize it, correct? You need to get in graphic card separately, you need to get in your RAM separately, you need to get in your motherboard separately, you need to put in all of the things, your hard drive separately, you need to have a lot of things. Imagine you're taking them on a tour and your PC fucks up, it just goes off, and it never turns back. The time you would spend on getting all the equipments you want will itself lead you to a cancellation of your tour, because all the equipments which you had customized, you won't get it everywhere. It's not like you can go and buy that motherboard wherever you are, in whichever street you are. But that's not how it's in a Mac. You find it everywhere in the world. No matter you're in Dubai, no matter you're in USA, your MacBook goes off. Go to a Mac store, get the same version, get the same MacBook Pro, get the same iMac, and that's it. All you have to do is install your softwares, whatever the softwares you need for your tour, and you're done. You're just good to go. As simple as that. Nothing as complicated as Windows. That is one reason why I really go to Mac and not Windows. One major reason is because of this. It's super eco-friendly. And also when it comes to audio, all you need to do is just go into your MIDI devices, which is a software, an application in your MacBook. That is where you go and you do your routings, which is super simple. You don't have to download your ASIO drivers, you don't have to download your various drivers and etc like how you suffer on Windows. It's super simple. That is one reason. Now in the MacBook, you have the 13-inch, you have the 15-inch, you have the 16-inch, and I would not recommend you to go for the MacBook Air, because MacBook Air is not that powerful. Though many people use it for production, they might face issues in their future when they are actually processing during their mixing or mastering. So always either go for the MacBook Pros, or you can go for the Mini Macs. This Mini Mac, the reason, so I'm going to explain you why MacBook Pro, why Mini Mac, why iMac. If you're a person who works remotely, who does not like to sit in one place, who does not like to sit in a place and then meddle around with your DAW, you're a guy who produces music on the go, definitely go for the MacBook Pro. But you're a guy who's looking into a more affordable and more smaller unit, and this unit you just wanted to put it on a big screen and not any small monitors or anything. You just directly wanted to go into a 32-inch screen or 50-inch screen, and you want your PC to be really small, then go for the Mini. If you want to go for the iMac, say you're a budget oriented guy and you're like, I do not have enough budget to go. I know iMac are still expensive. It's 1,39,000 on Amazon, as you can see it right now. But trust me, it's worth the investment because I'm using it myself, and I've seen a couple of my friends also using it, and I think I've this is like the best investment I've made in my life because I can do anything in this iMac. Not just audio. I do all my video editings. I play games. I stream live, and I do a lot of other things. And this does not lag. It just super fast, super clean, helps me out in all the ways. So when it comes to the price range, your MacBook Pro 13-inch 8 GB 256 GB storage is 1,39,000, and your iMac is much more, higher spec, which is 3.0 gigahertz of clock speed. It's 6 core, not 4 core, and it's an 8th generation Intel i5, and it's got 1 TB, which is 1,49,000. So this is this is for the budget guys who are like, I just want every penny to be worth. For people like that, go for the iMac. And for MacBook Pro, yes, it's not that budget oriented, just 8 GB of RAM and just 256 GB of SSD and just 1.4 gigahertz. They're almost pricing at 1,39,000. But the advantage in this is you can take it remote, you can take it and produce wherever you want. And mini Mac, you can't take it everywhere, but if you have a portable monitor and if you have a nice touring bag, you can obviously put it into your bag with all the cables required and take it and go. But I would suggest this to people who really wanna put things on bigger screen and produce things. So for people like that, mini Mac, and this is also really budget oriented. It's not that expensive. It's almost close to your iMacs, or maybe pretty less also. You get all the 6 core 4.6 in like 80,000 or 90,000 rupees of Indian rupees. And the next thing, what I'm gonna show you and what do you need for production is a DAW. What is a DAW? A DAW is a digital audio workstation in which you're gonna produce music. Once you buy a laptop or iMac, you need a DAW, which is why you need the laptop in the first case. Once you buy it, you need a DAW for you to record or produce music and etc. The one which I use is Ableton Suite. The one which you see here. You have 3 versions. I would not recommend you to go to Intro because Intro is, according to me, is useless because it just gives you 16 audio and MIDI tracks. I barely use for drum alone around 18 tracks. So that would definitely, you can't make music in that. Either go for standard or suite. The only difference between standard or suite is this: Max for Live devices. Max for Live devices are your processing plugins. It's a little technical processing plugins. That's where you'll find your convolution, reverb, and you can also design your own plugins in that case. I went for the live because I also like doing sound designing. So Max for Live does give you certain units where you can design your sound, but that's the only difference. Again, I am showing you this because I use it personally and I've been doing all my mix master recording on live. But you can go for Logic, and I personally recommend people to go for Logic because, as you see, live is $524, which is almost close to 70,000 rupees, which I would not recommend to many of you who are beginners in this industry. You do not want to spend 70,000 rupees in the beginning and then wait 5 years, 6 years, or maybe even 3-4 years to get that money back. It just doesn't make sense when you're from the business point of view. So I would recommend you, see, anyhow, I'm suggesting you to buy an Apple Logic or iMac or Mini. When you buy them, you can buy the Logic Pro, which is only 15,500 rupees. And it is really simple for anyone to buy that. All you have to do is just save half of your salary for 1 month or 2 months or maybe even 3 months in that case, and then spend it on 15,500 rupees, which is a world-class DAW. It is not any less when compared to your Pro Tools or Ableton Live. Logic Pro is equally powerful, equally standard, world-class standard when it comes to your Pro Tools, and it is priced at only 15,500 rupees. The reason behind that price is because you can only use it on your Apple devices. You can't use it on your Windows devices or other operating systems such as Linux or DOS. But it's really less expensive. 15,500 is a very affordable. So I would recommend y'all to go to the Logic. have a hands-on moment, understand what is MIDI track, understand what are audio tracks, how to record, what is input monitoring, what is latency, buffer size, sample rate, etc, etc. And then you can go for any DAW, say Pro Tools Live. The reason why I'm suggesting Logic is all the rest of the DAW such as Cubase, Pro Tools, or your Live are expensive, and you do not want to spend so much of a money when you're in a learning point of time. You want to invest on DAWs as such when you're earning or when you're making a living out of these. So then it makes a sense, but otherwise I wouldn't recommend you to invest 70,000, 80,000 just for learning purpose. Go for Logic, buy it for 15,500, and you know, you can just practice. And also another thing is, this is not any paid promotion, so I'm not trying to, you know, get Logic or Live or any other DAW in its highlight so that you have to buy those things. It's not like that. This is completely out of my experience, because I also use Logic and I've never felt Logic is less when compared to Pro Tools. I'm a guy of user of multiple DAWs. I use anything from Cubase to Live to Logic to Pro Tools. The only thing I haven't used is Reaper and FL Studio. Other than that, I think I've put my hands on everything else. So that is why I kind of felt that I should make this point a little highlighted so that you don't end up spending more money. The moment you do this, the next thing you need to buy is a headphone, because you do not want to do it, produce music and listen to that in an, fancy earphones like your JBLs or, all your boosted headphones. I will for sure make another video on what is a flat frequency headphone and what is the difference between a boosted headphone. But in today's topic, the one which I'm gonna show you is something called Audio Technica. Most of y'all may not heard of it because it's not a fancy brand, but if you see any YouTube or any professional who teaches music in YouTube, you would for sure see this headphone, because this is a world-class headphone only for music production and your audio engineers. People who go live, who mix in the live, people who mix in studios, who wanna, listen to how it sounds in a headphone, they will use this, because it's a flat headphone. What do I mean by flat is there are no boost in your frequency. So whatever you make in the DAW, whatever you make in your laptop, you're gonna listen to that the way it is in your laptop or your DAW. There is no boost in your low frequency, no boost in your high frequency. It's just flat. It's just telling you, see, whatever you have made, I'm throwing it back to you the way it is. If it's dump, it is dump. If it's sounding good, it's sounding good. Most of the times what happens, most of the people, they get it wrong because they use fancy headphones like all your boosted headphones, which are boosted in your frequency. And even though if there is no bass or lower frequency in your project, you tend to be like, oh acha, the bass is good. But when I put it on these headphones or on my flat frequency monitors, I'm like, bro, there's no bass at all, what's wrong? And you'll be like, no, there is bass, listen to this, and you give me your boosted headphones. That is the problem, because your headphones, imitate that lower frequency and tends to cheat you, telling there is low frequency, so you're good to go, but there is actually not. If you happen to listen in all of these flat frequency headphones, you will not find that low frequency if it's not there in the project. The one which I use is M50X. It's 9,600 rupees. Again, I've been using this headphone for 4 years and still works fine for me, so I think it's worth 10,000 rupees. But yeah, there is M20X, which is around 4,300 rupees. Still almost pretty much the same. It's just that the quality and the weight and your frequency spectrum, it's a little lower when compared to your M50X. I think this produces anywhere from 36 to 16 or 17 hertz, and this goes all the way from 20 to 18 to 19 kilohertz. I think that's the only difference. And then the quality does change a little. This looks a little posh and this looks a little less, but again, in your audio there's nothing posh or less. It's just how it sounds, and that's about it. You also have your 40X and you also have your 30X. So that those are the things which I would recommend you to buy when you're using a headphone. Most of the people, yes, I know, they are huge fans of Sennheiser, and for y'all, I have the Sennheiser HD 280 Pro Studio Monitor folding headphone, which is just 7,300 rupees. Again, worth the price. I've been using this for almost a year and a half right now. No complaints about it. Really, really good. And once you do all this, the next thing I would want you to buy, if in case you still have the budget, if in case you are like I still have some more budget left, I would want you to buy a interface, which is an audio interface. What is an audio interface? And your audio interface is a device which converts signal from analog to digital and back to digital to analog. Why do you need this? Is you need it for recording purpose. You need it when you are gonna put in your monitors in a studio, because when you record your voice in a microphone, your vocal cord creates an acoustical energy which is being captured by the microphone, and this microphone cannot send it directly to your speaker. It needs something to convert that electrical energy into an analog, or your analog energy into a electrical digital. What I mean is digital. So this is why you need this interface. This interface decodes and encodes your audio and brings it out the way it is. So for your DAW to talk to your microphone, it needs this interface, because your microphones are sending analog signals to your digital interface, and your DAW will only take digital signals. It cannot take analog, whereas your mics are sending analog signals. So you need an interface to convert analog to digital, and then it goes into your DAW. Once your DAW is done encrypting it in its software, it has to send it back to the audio interface, because now your monitors or your speakers on the other hand cannot take digital, they are analog. So it is again converting from digital to analog and sending it back to the monitors. That is the whole point of your interface. The rest are all added benefits, like your pre-gain, your volume knob, your headphone outs. But the main purpose why you need an audio interface is for this reason. Very simple. It converts analog to digital and digital to analog. We call it AD/DA converter. And this is the best. Trust me, the Audient, the one, for budgeted guys, it's ID4. I think it's somewhere around 12,000 rupees, and it can beat any brands at that price range. I do not want to mention the other brands because I know most of y'all are using the red unit. I hope you all understood by now what I mean by the red unit. For people who have that red unit will now know what I'm talking about, but it is 100 times better than the red unit, and it is 100 times better than any of the audio interfaces at that price range. At a price range of 12,000 rupees, it can beat, even at the price range which is got around 40,000 or 30,000 rupees, because I think it's the best A to D and D to A converter, and I just love this. I just love the way it sounds. It's crispy, it's got a dynamic range of 114 dB, and I will also leave a link to this website in my description so that you guys can go and check it out. And the best thing is, all of the preamps or pre-gains you see in this, it's from his flagship console. What I mean is, it's a huge ass console which is called ASP800. It's an analog board. It's, if I can open it and show it up to y'all. So if this is the console which you're gonna see now, is the console's preamp, which is still fitted into this small unit. It's got a world-class preamp. If you see this board here, whatever the preamp is present in this board is absolutely what present in this small unit, and you get it for just 12,000 rupees. Just imagine that. We cannot afford such a big board at this point, because I think this will cost you lakhs, but you get the the same pre-gains and the preamps in the smaller unit. The one which I use is ID14. It's around 23,000 rupees, because I am a guy who likes to record multiple inputs, so I need to have 14 inputs and 8 outputs. So that's the main reason why I have this. But for people who just want to use monitors and just one microphone, one instrument, you can definitely go to your Audient ID4. And it's the same which you also see another one. This is Evo, again by Audient. This is also same. 2 inputs of microphone line, 1 input of instrument line, and 2 outputs of your left and right. I will make a video on only what is audio interface. I'm just right now explaining you what are the things you need. So you can also put in your headphone and do monitoring. You can put in your input of, you see this instrument, this is where you need to put in your guitars and record, or your piano, your keyboards. And for your mics, you can put up to 2 mics, and your outputs are left and right, which this left and right is basically what it means is, it goes to your left monitor and right monitor. And also understand one thing, I am using this terminology called monitor. this monitor is not your screen monitor. This left monitor, right monitor is your speakers. We do not call speakers in our audio industry, we call them monitors, because all these are flat frequency monitors, so we do not call them speakers. So just get used to this terminology so that you guys don't get confused. Why is this person telling monitor? All these are used for sound, it's not for video. Yes, I know that. I'm sorry if I've confused you. I should have told this in the beginning of the session itself, which I didn't. So now I'm telling y'all. So this monitor terminology means speakers and not your screen monitors. So you have your Evo. I will leave the website link so that you guys can go in and see all of the different things and their text sheets and etc etc. I'll also leave links to the product so that if you guys want to go and purchase it or put it in your cart, go ahead and do it. And this is the console's pre-gains, which you'll see in devices like your ID14, ID4, etc etc. And I think that's about it. I also want to explain about the microphones, but I think I will take that to the second part. I'm going to come up with another part where I'm going to explain you what microphones, what cables, what XLRs, and including your strip unit, your power strip unit. I'm going to tell you that as well. So I think for this part I'm gonna stop it right here. This is the most important. You need a laptop. I've shown you what are the things you need. You need a DAW, a software. I've shown you what are the things. I've recommended you one as well. You need an audio interface to convert your analog to digital and digital to analog. I've also showed you what that is. And you need a headphone for you to listen. I've also showed you what that is. About your microphone, your speaker monitors, and your cables and power strip unit, etc etc, your MIDI devices, your MIDI keyboards, all that in the part 2. Stay tuned. I hope you really like this video. Thank you so much for for the people whoever have subscribed till date and who are still supporting me by liking and commenting, telling it's good. And also for people who are coming back to me and telling what happens if you do this, what happens if I do this in sidechaining. And for people like that who come up with questions, I thank you all, because the more you question me, the more even I'm learning and the more I'm able to tell it to people and teach them as well and educate. So thanks. Let's educate everyone. Let's also learn at the same time. And for anyone who wants to have a one-on-one session, I'm also going to put in my email address below. So please kindly mail me if you're staying in and out in India or Bangalore or even outside the world is okay. We can always do sessions on Skype, etc etc. I'm totally a digital person, so you won't have any problems in that case. So thank you so much. This is again Suraj from Amunra Shiksha. Please like, comment and subscribe. Thank you.